Hey everybody, this is Kris. Welcome to the Weird Couch.
So anyhow, so what it sounds like is the opportunity spoke to kind of this innate sense of nobility that you kind of already had. You knew that you wanted to serve a greater good, and this provided an opportunity for you to serve that greater good in a time where it was needed.
Yeah.
And so that combined with, I don't want to say necessarily family experiences, but characteristics that have been, bred into you by your family. We all kind of, one of the common threads of all of us that all hung out together was kind of this innate sense that we all shared of wanting to do good. So it's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to do good because part of that lifting of the veil is, I think, if you're patriotic and you agree with the military, you blanket everybody in like, oh, G.I. Joe. If you disagree with the military, you still blanket everybody, but you're like murderers, and it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I had an opportunity, there was a moment where it was one of those moments, a defining moment where you either know you're going to pull the trigger or you're not going to pull the trigger. And I've always known, and there was no doubt I was going to pull the trigger, but circumstances was like, okay, there's no need to anymore. And we moved on. And that's a risk to accept, but just because of like that moment or whatever doesn't mean that because I support guns, the rights of bear arms or anything like that, that I'm some racist, murderous motherfucker who's a warmonger, and that's all people that letting out the human side. They would know that I've helped with the local community putting sand, like in a combat fucking zone. Instead of just sitting there watching the locals put sandbags up and, possibly be a target, I'm out there with them loading sandbags on, onto a berm or whatever, basically being a target with them to help them, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know those kinds of stories. They don't want to hear those kinds of stories because it'll change their mind. It'll either change their mind from what they think being a patriot is or a G.I. Joe superhero is, or it'll change their mind from, oh, well, maybe he isn't a warmonger, because now they have support that is going to affect their narrative.
So you think that there's some people out there that kind of don't want to humanize it.
They don't want to humanize it because they will learn something, and it'll change. People don't like change. It'll change the way they think, and it'll change the way they view certain things. And they've been talking this bullshit nonsense on both sides, in support of and against for so long. Like, they would be like, wait, you're telling me that the earth is actually round and not flat?
That's a whole nother topic we can do.
Yes.
So anyhow, so I guess to kind of, end things on a lighter note, give us your best EQ and Joe in Iraq story. I guess that's safe for the
Joe. Sorry, bro.
We gotta get Joe in these videos.
We do gotta get Joe in these videos. I honestly, I say this all the time. No matter how fucked up certain shit was and things I came back with, there's a lot of good stories. But I would have to say the funniest one was having to be, I wasn't going on mission or whatever, and me and Joe were in the tactical operations center for our troop, and we worked the 12-hour mid shift, the late shift. So we were the only two people up. And so when nothing was going on, we're fucking around watching TV. He's a fucking Trekkie, straight up Trekkie. He's a nerd as fuck. And so he got me into watching Star Trek. But I sit there and I'm watching this episode. I think I was watching Voyager, and all of a sudden I hear this screaming coming out of his headphones, and I was like, "The fuck are you watching?" And he turns the fucking laptop, and it's a lady giving birth, and I was thrown because I was like,
"You guys are in the middle of Iraq."
In the middle of Iraq.
Then there's nothing to do, and
we're on shift.
All of the things in the world that he could have possibly been looking up.
Yes, and there's a reason behind it. It's because he had just found out that him and his wife were pregnant with his daughter. With his daughter, I think you met her.
Context is amazing.
Exactly. So he wanted to be prepared. This is what, like, I believe military personnel are like this. You're going to be faced with something. You're like, you know what? I want to face it now and learn as much as I can. So I'm not
jump in with
I'm
both
just going to
feet.
jump in. This motherfucker jumped in with both feet and took me with him, because for the next hour and a half, it was like, ooh, okay, let's watch this one. Push play. And it was like, oh my God. Oh, what just happened?
Oh, it's like
Oh my God.
watching a train wreck.
Oh, and people were like, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I'm like, you know what? Visually, it is not the most beautiful thing in the world. I don't care who the fuck you are, you're lying. The process of birth is
Metaphorically.
the concept of giving birth is the most beautiful thing in the world. It's
Right.
amazing. But the physical act of it is like, okay, you know what? I love you, honey. You are the most beautiful thing I know. But this is fucked up. This is fucked up. And I'm sorry.
It's
like,
much different when it's not yours.
yeah, like it's much different when it's not yours. So like watching those videos, man, like he watched live like water birth and people giving birth like in nature without any it was really like it was on. Basically, we left shift. You know how like people when they leave like a fucked up movie or something, they just like they look like zombies when they leave. We left the talk and we didn't say shit to each other. It was just
hair mangled looking.
It was like, oh, you guys are.
You just see.
Yeah, you guys are here now. We survived the zombie apocalypse while you were sleeping. We fucking seen things, people. You don't know what I've seen. And then we just like we went grabbed chow. It was like the quietest day. We grabbed chow, went back to our barracks room, and fucking just put our headphones in, turned on some TV, and fucking went to sleep. Man, it was rough.
All right. Well, hey, there you guys have it. If you guys have any more questions for either Joe or EQ, send them to us.
Yeah, feel free.
People are curious about the experiences of veterans. They're not just images that you see on TV. Vets are walking among us every day. They're now performing, civilian jobs. They're just like you and me. So let's try and lift the veil and do our own kind of education on this thing, and not leave it up to the TV to condition us as to how we're supposed to feel about them. They're interesting. They're weird. So let's encourage this. Any last thoughts before we sign off here?
Yeah, just remember, veterans, we are all assholes, but we are the nicest, most helpful assholes you'll ever meet in your life. And as always, just be weird, be kind, be human.